Hello, I am Cabin856, and we have a bit of a delayed bingo, but we're also joined by Garfield the Lightning. So, how are you today, Garth?
I'm good, thank you. I'm looking forward to this match. We've got Snorms versus Hgfin. Both have played one match so far. Snorms is 1-0, Hgfin is 0-1, but it's still early days yet. Plenty of time for things to get shaken up.
Yeah, so Snorms is the higher seed in this matchup, but in a game of Pokemon, anything can happen. So, we really like to see some of the newer runners show us what they're made of. So, hopefully, we have an exciting and close race. So looking at the card immediately, we have a few things we have to keep in mind. So we have win bug catching contest and defeat a Lapras. So we want to probably start on a Thursday, have it roll over to a Friday night. Other goals to keep in mind, we're going to be trying to collect as much money as we can. We need 48,000 Poké Dollars for buy 3 game corners. And other than that, it seems like we just have a considerable hodgepodge of random Pokemon that we're going to need to find. Looks like it's going to be a heavy catching card. I see a lot of Poke goals and more importantly, 2 different move goals with 4 non-TM damaging and a Pokemon with Protect, Detect, Endure.
We do at least have King's Rock in the middle, which is an absolutely free goal. You can always get that from Slowpoke Well by talking to the guy down there.
Yeah, we also have a few other free goals, and on some of the rows, we've got Sunny Day and Sludge Bomb, 2 very free TMs. Soft Sand, which is just fighting 3 trainers, and also Radio Card. But it seems that all of these free goals seem to be avoiding the same line as each other. So it looks like we're getting started now. So we see our runners setting the day. So the chat is asking how long do they have to inspect the card? So with our rule set, we don't actually hide the card, so our runners are allowed to look at the card for pretty much as soon as they get the room, which they get the room at the same time. Now, due to our particularly unfortunate late start, the bot was sleeping on the job, our runners have actually had quite a bit of time to look at the card. But in a game like Pokemon, knowing what's on the card isn't the most important, necessarily. So how about these starters, Garf?
Sorry, I was kind of just getting things sorted a bit. I saw Vileplume and Geodude. What was the other one?
I believe it was a Wartortle.
I
So,
mean, okay, nothing great there.
but Vileplume is on the card, so it's a pretty easy
Yeah,
choice for both our runners.
the Vileplume is pretty slow, and its attacking types are pretty poor, so I would definitely expect these guys to look for something better than that.
However, it does have the raw stats needed to be a main if we need.
Yeah, you could if you really wanted to, but... Well, I guess we'll see. We'll go see what the moveset is.
That was not a good moveset.
No. Yeah, they'll definitely want something else. Yes, Scissor ain't bad. It's not as good as it is in like a competitive setting because it's it's a little slow, and Steel and Bug there aren't a lot of great moves for Steel and Bug types, and it does have that 4 times fire weakness, so you don't see it run all that often. But you know, if it's good, then I mean it's all about the moveset really.
Well, speaking of moveset, that is a Sacred Fire Ho-Oh on Hgfin's side.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Unfortunately, it looks like he did not have Pokeballs. Yeah, he's still on Route 29. Additionally, Howlugia is also on the card, so...
Yeah, Hgfin, I imagine, will definitely come back and look for that.
Now, we do see Snorms finding Dragonair. Dragonair, being a dragon type, is also on the card. We don't actually have a trade Pokemon, so we don't need to be using it for that, however. So it's not the most important dragon type we could run into. Looks like Hgfin lost a decent amount of time from encounters and fighting the Ho-Oh. Usually we don't like to fight things too early on, especially something like the Legendary, because, I mean, okay, yes, it is a goal. We do get experience, but it's unlikely that you're going to run the Vileplume, and the odds of finding a Legendary Pokemon elsewhere are extremely high, so... Usually, it's not just about getting the goal that matters, but we also have to consider when we get the goal.
Hgfin finds the Dragonair as well. He was probably gonna... He probably had a decent... He had probably a decent idea of where it was anyway, but it is nice that he doesn't have to search for it.
Yeah. Now we do see the Wartortle with Psybeam.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter if you lose this fight, because you're not going to be running the Vileplume anyway with this moveset.
You do get a little bit of extra money for winning the fight, but really all that matters is the experience if you want it on a main.
Can't imagine you want to run Dragonair either. Its stats are alright, but it's not. They're nothing special, and this moveset is not particularly great.
Yeah, and it doesn't exactly evolve at a reasonable level either.
No. Now Gramble, on the other hand, this could be something. Wow, he got incredibly lucky hitting triple kick twice and letting it stay alive there.
I wonder if Snorms is going to run into the Ho-Oh, or if he's just going to bolt through and hope he runs into something else. Because Snorms has a bit of a reputation in the community for being one of the best blitzers. So just rushing straight to fly, ignoring everything else, and then cleaning up just about everything else afterwards. Now, I'm actually curious as to why Snorms is picking up the Staryu.
That Gramble did not have a particularly good moveset. Bind as its only physical move. Not that great.
I think we, am I crazy, or did we, find a Water Stone, actually?
We did find a Water Stone, yeah, so... If Staryu learns a decent move, he might just, you know, level this up a little bit, because after it evolves with a Water Stone... I'm not sure if Starmie learns anything in this gen. I know it learns like one move in later gens, but Stone evolutions generally learn very few or no moves after they've been evolved with a Stone. So he might want to level it up a little bit, see if he gets a good move, and then Starmie is definitely a runnable Pokemon with the right moveset.
Yeah, however, it was a mostly physical Starmie. It did have Spark, however, which, if it gets Ice Beam, it's definitely something to consider, but you would basically need Ice Beam to make it runnable, I would say. Starmie is also a particularly frail Pokemon.
I'm not sure what level Staryu learns moves in this game. I can't imagine it's a piece of information that many people would have off the top of their head because the situation doesn't come up very often.
Yeah. Now we do see a Feraligatr, and that is definitely something runnable. Now Stomp only, maybe not, but still 3 other moves to see.
And
Now I
actual
want to...
Fable is an excellent
Yeah,
candidate for a Pokemon with 4 non-TM, non-damaging moves.
because it also, in fact, has a Teleport, which can be very useful for saving time. There are not a lot of places you usually use Teleport, but if you find it early on, you can skip traveling through Route 29 again if you have a main, although Hgfin doesn't particularly have one yet. But the biggest use of Teleport, unless you're fly skipping that is usually when you first reach Goldenrod, you have to go up to the Sudowoodo, talk to the girl, bike all the way back to Goldenrod, talk to the girl in the house after fighting Whitney, then go all the way back to the Sudowoodo. You got a bit of a back and forth, but you can skip one of those trips with Teleport.
Last egg in chat saying that Staryu learns a move at level 7, so that's not too far away. But this Feraligatr has Earthquake, so yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, Earthquake Stomp. Just better hope you don't run into Flying Rock or Flying Steel. Hgfin
What is
actually...
this? What does this map card mean going
Yeah.
on over here? This is not on the card. This is not the right card. Radio card is somewhere else.
Oh dear, that is
Wow, Zapdos with Stab Spark. I mean, luckily he's got the level advantage, but that would be a good main.
unfortunately, level advantage did not matter due to the crit. I was just thinking, yeah, something like a Thunder Zapdos would also cause a lot of trouble. But yeah, I believe Hgfin is definitely a very new runner. It's not done a lot of runs. So picking up the map card, I know I picked it up a lot when I was a newer runner because it can be difficult to look at the routes without having them labeled and think, okay, is that dot Ice Path or Dragon's Den?
I
Things
wonder
like
if
that.
Snorms could have sent in the Star. Well, I don't know if he still has the Staryu with him, but if he could have sent that in instead of the Dragonair to Latu, because that would have been a pretty decent opportunity to get those few levels it needs to learn a move.
Maybe. I don't think Snorms particularly likes Staryu or Starmie as a main, especially one so dubious.
Yeah, he's
but,
probably committed to the Feraligatr at this point.
yeah. It's going to be incredibly difficult to win against the Dunsparce, though.
Hgfin is finding more information on 29. So he's seen the Ho, and now he's caught the Hitmontop.
Norm seems to be stuck in a bit of a healing loop. Fortunately, he has a very large amount of potions. I've actually never seen anyone buy that many potions early on.
We're a gen too early for Serene Grace Headbutt Dunsparce to be a thing.
And unfortunately, the Feraligator's level up move was less than desirable. I guess Hgfin was feeling a little bit lonely. Had to go say goodbye to Mom before we left.
Yeah, I mean, I recently visited my parents who I haven't seen in 18 months due to lockdown, so you know, I can't really blame him.
But one of the biggest differences between Gen 1 and Gen 2 starters, aside from, them being completely different Pokemon, is since the stats aren't usually too different, you can compare Wartortle with Bayleaf / Meganium, but one of the differences is actually level up moves. Gen 1 Pokemon learn a lot more level up moves than Gen 2. And this difference is especially noticeable for Charizard versus Typhlosion, as they have the exact same base stat total and spread, so... It looks like Hgfin is really looking for this Ho-Oh.
Yeah, can't really blame him. When you see a Sacred Fire Ho, you don't want that to get away. But he is spending a lot of time here.
Now, normally, usually you would want to conceal information like this, unless you find it super early on. Although, if you want to main it, it's hard to say, but with Snorms, with Snorms being this far ahead of Hgfin, it could actually be kind of difficult for him to metagame where the Ho-Oh-Lugia is, because Snorms could expect Hgfin to be, say, on 31 or 36.
Yeah, but I don't think Hgfin will be thinking about that particularly. I think he just, doesn't really have a main he's happy with, and he knows that this Ho-Oh exists and has a powerful stab fire move. Speaking of moves, Snorm's getting the TM for Rock Slide from Falconer, which is just what Feraligatr needs. Hit those rock flying types. Well, that one rock flying type, but it helps.
Yeah, Skarmory could still pose a bit of an issue, but significantly less of one now. Sacred Fire Bite, not a great moveset, but more than usable, with picking up TMs along the way, especially with the Rock Slide TM, although Hgfin doesn't know that in hindsight.
You really wanted a physical move to complement Sacred Fire. Sacred Fire only has 5 power points, so you want something that you're able to spam a bit more readily than that.
And it looks like Hgfin actually just boxed the Legendary.
Yeah, after all that time, he just, doesn't cut it for him.
Yeah, now this is definitely a trap that a lot of early runners fall into. They spend a lot of time looking for a main, and then the more time you spend looking for the main, the more time you want to spend because you want a more and more perfect main. But the faster you find a main, the less ideal it has to be, because you've saved all that time looking for an ideal main.
Yeah, and if your main is really, really struggling, you can do things later on, like you can get the old rod from the house on Route 32 and try fishing for a level 10. That's something I don't do very often, but it's definitely an option if your main is lagging behind.
But really, you'd be surprised at how usable actually, like how easy it is to have a main with a mediocre moveset. Because all in all, we don't actually do a lot of battles, especially on a card like this, where probably the worst goal is maybe 8 trainers in Lighthouse, or actually getting Fly itself.
You just don't want to be stuck in one fight for ages, because if your moveset's just like a bit lacking or something, we've seen it before in races where you can just like run into a problem on one fight, you just want your main to be good enough to avoid those situations, really.
Yeah. But also, the more you, the further you go, the easier it is to, be able to get through said problematic fights, because you pick up more TMs. By the time you get to Goldenrod, you've got a lot of TMs available, and then once you get Surf, you're basically almost all your coverage moves are solved.
Cross chop, very nice, very nice. I mean, it's kind of, it overlaps a fair bit with Earthquake in terms of coverage, but you know, he'll absolutely take that for those bulky normal types.
I find it interesting that Snorms neglected to teach Rock Slide until it got the cross chop move. Perhaps he wasn't entirely convinced he was going to not main switch off of it. But now with cross chop, yeah, definitely. Surf over, stomp once you get it, and this is an excellent moveset.
Now, Hgfin finds Mewtwo in Dark Cave. It is only level 2, and we are quite a ways in. He is just having none of it, though. Mewtwo is a disgusting Pokemon, and we never want to see anyone run that ever.
Although, just with how far behind he is, I kind of wish he had just checked the moveset a little bit. I know some people would be, At any rate, he finds Heracross, which is on the card. But the thing is, if he's looking for a high-level main, he's not going to find it in Dark Cave. One of the important things to know is what levels you can find Pokemon on. Now, there is a slight bit of variance between race and race. For instance, on Route 36, sometimes you can find between levels 4 and 6, but usually level 5 is most common. But it just depends on the race. But Dark Cave is definitely primarily level 2s and 3s.
Yeah, the race outside has got higher level things in general. You can even go to 36 if you want some decently high level stuff, if you're desperate.
Yeah, and you can also go to Route... Sorry, you can also go to the Ruins of Alph, which is not a route, but basically the same as one.
Yeah, I think the encounter rate's a little lower in the Ruins of Alph, so it'll take you a little longer to find things because you don't have Sweet Scent yet.
At this point, it almost looks like he's running the Vileplume.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's just like, well, this is my highest level thing, and I haven't found anything I want to switch to, so I'm just gonna keep going with this.
Yeah, unfortunately, generally, I did say that you can make a lot of things work with a mediocre moveset, but usually a mediocre moveset consists of 1 or 2 good moves with somewhat lacking coverage, not 4 good-ish coverage moves, but that are really weak.
Yeah, I mean, this moveset would be runnable on, say, a strong normal type, but not on a Vileplume, really. I wouldn't have thought.
Yeah, because Triple Kick is one of the weakest fighting moves. Spike Cannon is also extremely weak, and not only are they weak, they're also really slow, because they have to hit multiple times, and that's terrible. And then, of course, Water Gun is basically the weakest water move also. So really all this Vileplume has is Takedown, which he's opting to not use and is at all. Okay, he's trying to catch the Lantern, that's why.
Oh, that's right. Excellent point from Blast Egg in chat. Vileplume, being a stone evolution, does not learn anything besides TMs, so that moveset is not really going to get much better unless you find something good on the ground. But here he's going for this Lantern, which we've seen Solar Beam and Skull Bash from, which are, I mean, I guess better than Vileplume. Let's see what else it has. Okay, I don't know.
Now, Storms does get Heracross info on Bugsy and Apom info. I missed his first poke. I hope it was a pincer. Ah, no, it's Ivysaur. Never mind, we're ruined. actually, this Ivysaur has Petal Dance, which is a bit of a problem for this alligator.
Yeah, luckily he's got just enough power to take it out with Earthquake. But if he didn't, if this moveset was just a little bit less powerful, that could have been a bit of an issue. Man, Hgfin has just checked a lot more Pokemon for main potential than Snorms, but he just hasn't found anything that's really great, and I think that's what he's been holding out for.
Yeah, it seems. I mean, he's fighting a lot of trainers too, which is a big problem. I mean, at this point, usually if you don't get a main early on, you typically want to check Route 36 because it's got the highest level mains you can get before Bugsy. So it's a pretty good place to look. You don't need a lot of levels, and in some instances, they can even become ready to fight than level 9, if you get lucky enough. It seems Hgfin is unaware of that strategy, however.
Bro, this Wartortle and Stab Crabhammer, that could actually have been the choice if you wanted to run a starter.
But yeah, as chat's also reminding us, Old Rod is also an option, so more often than not, you typically want to just find something that can get you past Falconer, and ask questions later. It's like, oh, well, I got past Falconer, isn't this a good main? No. Can it go further? Maybe. Or I can switch, check what Falconer's TM is, check what the Cave TM is, and then you can decide.
Well, it's not a waste of time for Hgfin to climb Sprout Tower, though, because if he gets Flash, he does have that Clefable, and he can teach it to that, and he will get his Pokemon with 4 non-TM, non-damaging moves, because Flash is technically an HM, not a TM.
This is also true. However, if he does that right away, he will tell Snorms that all of the Pokemon that he's caught are before Falconer.
Well, that's not necessarily true, because you don't have to teach Flash right away. You can teach it whenever you like, so, you know, Snorms doesn't know where Hgfin is at the moment.
That is true, but I have never seen anyone delay the Flash teach for non-HM to hide info. That is the most Galaxy Brain strat I've ever heard of. Meanwhile, Snorm's flexing on Hgfin, signaling, hey, I'm in Goldenrod, I have a Radium card. Which is probably less of a flex and more of just a chance to heal, which is always good. So, sometimes this game can turn into a bit of a mind game.
Yeah, this game is... it's quite... I don't think you see this often in bingos for other games, where it's like a lot of the game is about, you know, seeing whether, like, trying to guess where your opponent might have found something that you don't have information on, based on when they marked it. I don't think that is a thing that comes up often in these bingos. It makes Crystal Bingos pretty interesting, that's for sure.
At any rate, Snorms' angry gator is cleaving through everything, and Hgfin is slowly making his way through everything in and up to Falconer's gym. Now, I do find it interesting that Snorms is opting to pick up the coin case immediately. Perhaps he wants to check check what the Pokemon in the game corner are.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite likely that he will need to buy all 3 game corner Pokemon because it is a corner goal, so that means it's needed for 3 different lines. And, you know, he gets a bit of experience now for his Feraligatr, it can only help.
Something that occurred to me is, I hope Hgfin isn't trying to, compensate for his mediocre Pokemon by just having a lot of them.
I don't think that's what he's doing. I think he's, you know, he's mainly using the Vileplume at this point.
At any rate, that's level 18 Articuno in the bug catching contest. What do you think the odds of that winning are?
Yeah, I would say 100%. I don't think there's any chance he loses this one. 497 points. Yeah, that'll do it. Yeah, sometimes that goal can be a problem if the bug catching contest is littered with, you know, unevolved Pokemon or Pokemon with low HP, because HP is the most important, is a more important stat than the other ones when it comes to deciding who wins the bug catching contest. But yeah, that Ho-Oh that Hgfin found earlier, well, Snorms just ran into it outside of the national park, so
that is
very nice for him.
Unfortunate for Hgfin for a number of reasons. One, he loses the exclusive info. 2, if he had gone to Route 36, he could have had a Ho-Oh that's just 3 levels higher, and would have been a lot easier to main. 3, well, I mean, that's just why, one of the big reasons why you usually just why blitzing is usually a good strategy. Because you can spend a lot of time looking for, Pokemon early on, and then they're just static Pokemon later on, or you just run into them anyway. So you just ended up wasting all that time.
Yeah, it's just a real shame for Hgfin that he spent so much time trying to find the Ho-Oh. It ended up being bad. And then Snorms just, you know, without even trying, just runs into this Ho-Oh on a completely different rate. What a kick in the teeth that is.
Now we do see Leddyba info. That'll be useful for Snorms if he wants to
Yeah, that
do,
Rock Slide probably KO'd about 6 Leddyba at the same time there.
Let's start talking about route. Since at this point, Snorms is almost certainly going to be doing row 4, and probably going to be trying to do column 4 also. And with the info, it's definitely possible he ends up doing top right, bottom left. We just need the Fortress Octillery info. And row 2 is also a definite potential. I have a feeling Storms will be able to metagame where Hgfin is decently well.
Yeah, I think his path will depend on how far ahead he feels, because when you're ahead, you feel like, oh, okay, I can just do the goals that I know I can do that might take a bit longer than if I were to luck into a certain Pokemon. So things like the Ruins of Alph puzzles, you know, they take time, but you know that you're going to be able to do them every time.
Yeah, but especially if you're doing something like the Ruins of Alph puzzles, if you're gonna do it, you're gonna want to do it on a card like this, where you're basically guaranteed to get 2 bingos, and you could very well get all 3 bingos because it's on a pretty good diagonal also.
Yeah, it is a very well positioned goal for sure.
Now, 3 Game Corner Pokemon isn't actually a free goal. We say it's free because there's no real super amount of randomness involved, but there is definitely still randomness involved. Because, the amount of money you get from items on the ground, and say if you find an amulet coin, it can completely change if you're able to actually afford the Pokemon or not.
Hgfin has opened the treasure room here, see what he finds. Finding some decent items here. Iron, Sacred Ash, Master Ball, okay, yep. That's, that's not bad.
Pop quiz, who knows what that message says off the top of their head? Now, unfortunately for Hgfin, there isn't really a reason to open the treasure chamber. Opening up 2 Ruins of Alph chambers is not on the card. And there isn't really a need for the items either, perhaps if he's looking for money. I think at this point Hgfin is just trying to learn the game, trying to figure out what's good, what isn't good.
Another possibility is that he thinks that's one of the puzzles. I hope that's not the case, but I guess it's a possibility.
Yeah, that's possible. This is one of those rare instances where we actually pick up a water stone, we have a Ho-Oh, we don't even need an escape rope. If we wanted to open up 2 Ruins of Alph chambers, but such a niche condition is basically irrelevant.
Yeah, this is a goal I haven't investigated very much. I'm still trying to catch up on some of these new goals. So I'm not sure. So that top right one is escape rope. Which one's the Waterstone one?
The Waterstone one is the bottom left, so you have to go through Union Cave, and it's the one at the bottom. The Hoa one is the one at the top left, so you have to go through Union Cave and fight a trainer, so you never want to do that, even if you do have a Ho-Oh.
Okay, and the bottom right one is Flash, right?
Correct, which is also on the card, essentially, with 4 non-TM, non-damaging.
Trickums, I believe it has to be an actual Ho-Oh. I don't think the static level 60, if it was randomized to something else, would work. To open the chamber.
That is correct. Now, in a full item rando, the static Ho-Oh would actually count, because those items could be potentially mandatory for a key item, but this is a bingo, so this uses slightly different rules, slightly different base ROM, so only a real Ho-Oh will count. At any rate, let's talk about Hgfin. He's finally made it past Violet City.
Yep, I'll be interested to see if he picks up the rod and tries to find something else, because he is getting through with his Vileplume, but it's not been pretty.
Meanwhile, Snorms has picked up Surf. He's fighting Rival now, and actually, Snorms taught over Crosstop for Surf.
I think that's reasonable. Fighting and ground have pretty similar coverage, and you know, with Surf you're going to be hitting those rock flying types, and you're also going to be hitting the Skarmory more, you know, for more damage than you would have done with Cross Chop, most likely. Even though Feraligator's got less special attack than attack.
I suppose. I personally would get rid of the normal coverage, since, I mean, it's only Stomp. Stomp is a pretty weak move. So usually, even a not very effective, say, Earthquake, it's only going to be slightly weaker than a neutral Stomp, and Stomp can never be super effective. So I would usually prefer the coverage of, say, to hit normal types.
Yeah, personally, I think I would do what Snorms did, just because Crossdrop only has 5 PP. He doesn't really have a lot of power points throughout his moveset. Besides Surf, that one has 15 PP, but Earthquake only has 10, Rock Slide only has 10, Stomp is at least something that, you know, he's at the point in the game where he's going to be going through Morty's gym, and he'll be stomping all of those things probably.
Yeah, and he will be picking up strength soon, so regardless, we're going to see Stomp go away anyway. Apparently, we're being told the static Ho on the top of the tower does count for the Ho-Lugia. Oh yeah, it counts for the Ho-Lugia goal. Statics Pokemon too. Yeah. So yeah, also for Suicune, Raikou, or Entei, that goal also, if you find one of the roamers or catch the static 40 at the bottom of Tin Tower, that also counts for that goal. So static Pokemon do count for their respective legendary goals.
As for what those roamers were, I believe that the Raikou was Typhlosion and the Entei was Zapdos. I'm not sure what the Suicune was.
Kind of backwards. Raikou becoming a fire type, Entei becoming a Zapdos.
Yeah, I think Snorms probably recognized the Zapdos and wanted to search for that because, you know, that would be a pretty phenomenal late main switch.
Although even a level 40 Typhlosion is more than serviceable with Surf and something else.
Typhlosion does have a very long cry, though. Anyway, it's not like he really needs to main switch here.
Convenient, we see an actual Ariados. There is no need to evolve a Lediba anymore, unless of course a Ariados does not exist.
Yeah, Lediba is at least something that's pretty quick to evolve. It evolves at 18, so that's usually not too bad if you get it somewhere. If you get it somewhere decently late on, just, you know, have to give it experience from one fight and it's probably evolved.
Notice Hgfin is neglecting to use any repels. Perhaps he's really hoping to find a random Pokemon?
Well, at this point, he probably, you know, he'll know he's behind at this point, so he probably thinks that, you know, the only way he has a chance is to get info that Snorms doesn't get.
Unfortunately, that is a pretty big trap that we find a lot of newer runners falling into. Because once you're farther behind, it's even harder to stop being far behind. Now we do see fishing. Fishing could be interesting. We see a Venusaur, which... what level is this Vileplume? Only level 13? You can definitely consider main switching to that.
Yeah, I see Blizzard, and, you know, that Venusaur is instantly better than this Vileplume.
Yeah, especially because, like, you have a Rock Slide TM. You can teach that.
Yeah, Venusaur can hit on both sides. It's more I'm not sure if it's more powerful, but it is faster than Vileplume. It's definitely more powerful on the physical side, at least. And,
actually,
you know, has Blizzard.
Yeah, I believe Venusaur is, like, around 180 stat spread. Similar to Charizard, but slightly weaker and slightly more defensive.
Alright, and Detect. I forgot about that.
Magnitude also, that's a usable move. And I'm interested in seeing just how much Hgfin weakened it. Perhaps he's unaware of, so we do have a thing, we like to joke and call it minimum catch rate, but actually it's maximum catch rate. Because every Pokemon, no matter the level, no matter how strong the Pokemon is, at full HP it is a 1 in 3 chance to get in a Pokeball. And if you weaken it, that does go up. So at about a third of HP, it's a 100% chance.
Yeah, so that's why you'll see things like people chuck Pokeballs at legendaries at full HP. They're not crazy. They're just they're just playing the odds.
Now that is a Body Slam Flareon, and I don't care what that Venusaur has. We have to main switch to this.
Yeah, Body Slam is the best normal type move in the game, and Flareon has massive attack to back it up.
Aw, unfortunate. Making use of Teleport, actually, to run away from the Flareon. Much to my dismay, Flareon's a personal favorite of mine.
Anyway, Snorms is just going through without having too many problems. He did get paralyzed by Thunderbolt on a Poliwhirl, but he was not in any real danger. Mega Kick, garbage move, forget that. It's very powerful, but very inaccurate, and, you know, doesn't give him any more coverage than what he has.
That, and he's one weak trainer away from picking up Strength.
Yeah, that's true.
Speaking of Mega Kick, that's a move on the Venusaur. And that Ursaring actually is holding TM46, which is not on the card today, but...
That Ursaring has extreme speed, that's pretty scary.
Yeah, actually. And Extreme Speed Bear with Rock Slide, that's also runnable.
Yeah, I'd take that. I mean, Extreme Speed does only have 5 power points, but he will get Headbutt very soon.
Now, actually, I note the Feraligatr, it's actually level 28. That is honestly pretty high for exiting Morty's gym. Usually, typically, you exit Morty's gym around level 25, 26.
Yeah, the only additional thing Snorms did was climb Sprout Tower, if I remember rightly, so it's not like he's fought a whole lot of extra stuff. Well, he did also go in the underground, didn't he?
Yeah, but that does not give a lot. Storm's spending a decent chunk of money on Repels and Hypers. With Game Corner Pokemon on the card, you actually have to be really conscious about what you buy and how much. Typically you want to buy a little bit less than you usually do and just kind of push through regardless. Maybe buy some weaker potions instead, since Hyper Potions, for the most part, are often overkill. You often heal much more HP than you actually have maximum. And that extra money that you save actually does definitely matter a lot.
Yeah, they're nice for when you're being hit by a move that does more than that does like just like, I don't know, if it does like just shy of half your health and you can't heal up properly with just super potions, then it can help then. But usually super potions are good enough at this point.
Hgfin is still running the Vileplume. Perhaps he doesn't realize it doesn't learn any level up moves.
Or maybe he's just formed a bond with it. You know, we talk about buddies and stuff for people in other games. Maybe this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Could be. We'll have to ask him about this after. Now, interestingly, Storms has not taught Strength over Stomp yet.
Well, then he gets 3 flinches and kind of, you know, that vindicates his decision right there, I suppose.
I suppose. Would have been a 2-shot, probably, with Strength, but... maybe 3. Probably.
I think it would have been a 3-shot because it was a 4-shot with Stomp.
Snorms really likes to conserve PP. Snorms almost never heals at Poké Centers. Because, I mean, if you are able to manage your PP and avoid healing, you can save a surprising amount of time. Usually, though, often you don't actually have the tools necessary, since you usually need like a lot of good moves to be able to hold off on teaching moves such as Strength or Surf. You maybe need some Ethers or Elixirs. But we have the tools, and Storms is making use of them. Hgfin, training up that Vile Plume, giving it some irons, just make it a little bit more defensive.
Look at that. Could have sold it for 4,900, but, you know, money can't buy friendship, you know? This is what it's all about. This is the story we were here to see.
But it can. Haven't you heard of a haircut?
Alright then. Fine. I'll give you that.
Fortunately, that Suicune did not burn the Fraligator. The first time.
Wow. Nice curse.
It more so mattered the first time, instead of when it was already 75% dead.
He's nice berry when he went right past a burn heal, so he, you know, that's one different type of berry that he had to use there.
Yeah, because 7 different types of berries is on the card. Now, it's not in a particularly great spot, as we do not have Mischievous Murkrow info yet, or Fortress Auxiliary, or Arcanine Ninetales. But it is still something you want to be conscious of, just in case.
Duck with Dynamic Punch? What kind of randomizer?
And with that, Snorms just barely misses the sub 50 fly, but this is still a pretty decent fly time, considering he did take a little bit of time to find his mate, and he did have to do contest, although it was pretty much the fastest possible contest.
Yep, it's gone pretty smoothly for Snorms ever since he got that Fraligator. But the cleanup can, you know, it can cause some issues. We'll see how smoothly this goes.
Now, I don't think Hgfin actually gave any item to the victory, the Vile Plume. Would be a great time to pick up give it that Leftovers.
Yeah, Leftovers is something that, you know, traditionally in speedrun you'd be like, well, Leftovers are pretty slow, but they're actually pretty fast in this, and they can save you going into the menu and healing, because often you're just one-shotting things anyway. Although maybe this Vile Plume is the exception.
At any rate, Hgfin picking up the Lure Ball from Kurt. Maybe he thinks this is a full item, Rando. So how about this shiny? It's a Kakuna.
It's not the worst looking shiny I've ever seen.
Yeah, slightly greenish. I'm actually curious as to why Snorms caught it. I suppose it might have one of the moveset goals he's looking for, but it is typically faster to kill the shiny if you don't need it.
Well, I think that because you're guaranteed to start with an attacking move in this randomizer, the higher level you are, it seems like, you know, you're more likely to get to get more non-damaging moves later on. That's how it seems to me, anyway.
At any rate, we're dexing some info. Ariados is in Slowpoke Well, which is in a pretty good location. Well, not a great location, but it's definitely doable since we do have a feature called Dex Area Beep. Why don't you explain what that is, Garth?
Yeah, sure. So you'll see that Snorms is looking in the Pokedex for Jolteon and Ariados, and you heard the beeps there for when he looked at the Ariados, and that means that Ariados is on this floor of Slowpoke Well. So without this, you'd only know that it was in Slowpoke Well, but you wouldn't know what floor it was on. So you'd have to check. You'd have 20 different slots to check. You only have 10 slots to check now because you know it's on this floor. There are 3 slots in the water, 7 slots on the land, and well, he found Ariados straight away. Very nice.
Very convenient. Now he's also looking for the Jolteon. I missed what the Jolteon had. Perhaps it had Protect, Detect, or Endure.
I think that must be it, yeah.
Fishing slots do not count. So how fishing works in this game is fishing is actually not route dependent, but there's actually a handful of fishing groups, and multiple routes share the same fishing group. So for instance, inside Slowpoke Well and inside Union Cave, they share the same fishing group, as well as a lot of outside routes share the same fishing route. So.
And it's a similar story for Headbutt and Rock Smash as well. They don't show up in the decks either, and they're also put into groups in a similar way.
Norm's finding Spinnerack also in the cave.
Wow. The spawning grounds. It's kind of getting wrecked by this Petal Dance Ivysaur here.
Yeah, I was just about to say. And then Hgfin just did a hard reset. I hope he saved. He did. So it looks like Hgfin is unaware of the quick soft reset baked into vanilla Pokemon Crystal.
Yeah, if you press Start Select A and B at the same time, you will just soft reset without having to turn off and turn on your console, which is what the Control R hard reset simulates.
Looks like Hgfin is stocking up on items considerably. But I mean, at this point, it's unlikely he's ever was going to afford Game Corner Pokemon anyway, so I don't think it really matters.
Gosh, this is a convenient level to find Tyrogue. Level 19 evolves at level 20 in vanilla, so you know that's very convenient for Snorms. He'll be able to evolve that into Hitmonchan, Lee, or Top, depending on what its attack and defense values are. But it doesn't really matter which one he evolves into.
Place your bets now. Will it be a Hitmonchan, Lee, or Top? I'll go for Lee.
I'll go for Chan then.
So at this point, Snorms is almost certainly has a path. So Snorms can do column 1, row 4, column 4, top left, bottom right, and then row 2 if he really is desperate for normal types. This is, of course, assuming that he can afford Game Corner Pokemon and has something for 4 non-TM. Although with how he's looking at Pokemon movesets, I don't actually think Snorms has a 4 non-TM Pokemon.
I think. Hold on. I think Snorms can only has 4 lines right now. He can do TLBR, row 2, row 2, and column 5, but I don't think he has enough info for anything else.
I don't think Snorms is dexed the Heracross or Apom info yet, but we do know that it's 100% obtainable, so I doubt Snorms is worried about that.
Yeah, but that only gives him column 5, right? He doesn't have Horsey or Ponyta info, I don't think.
Correct, we've definitely not seen a Horsey or Ponyta. Now, I find it interesting, Hgfin is so insistent on running this Vileplume, yet he's not taught it Rock Slide yet. So I really wonder what Hgfin is planning.
I mean, it's not a great move for Vileplume, but it's, you know, this Vileplume's not going to get any better unless you teach it something.
So, we're being asked, why is Hgfin so far behind? It's a combination of reasons. Hgfin is definitely one of our newest runners, so a bit of an experience, and he's also running a subpar Vileplume, and a lot of combination of factors added up and to the point where he is this far behind, unfortunately. But
I mean, he definitely didn't find a main as good as Snorms' for Alligator. There are some things that maybe he could have tried forcing, but yeah, he did. He looked at a lot of things. None of them were really that great, so I can't really blame him for his decision to stick with Vileplume because it was just his highest level thing at the time.
But yeah, I mean, we all start somewhere, so hopefully Hgfin sticks with Crystal after the tournament, and maybe one day we'll be able to see a rematch in a future tournament.
Well, I believe we're planning on making this a yearly thing if it goes well, so there's definitely potential there.
Quick, place your bets. What is the Lapras? I'm calling Quagsire.
If it was Horsey, that would be pretty nice for him. Something like Horsey or Fortress would be pretty good.
Well, it's rock water, not groundwater, so Amistar, not particularly important.
SA would have been good. He had to defeat it for the goal though, so I guess it wouldn't have been good. Well, he would have given him information at least.
So at this point, you might want to consider teaching Cut to Vileplume. It sounds kind of absurd, but Cut is a significantly better move than Spike Cannon in every situation.
But Headbutt is right here, so I don't think there's any need for that.
This is true, and he also has Takedown.
He's been very reluctant to use Takedown though.
Yeah, since with the leftovers, you can actually offset a great deal of the takedown recoil, actually. But he also is yet to teach that. Well, we do see a Ninetales with Stab Flame Wheel in the forest, so all of Hgfin's dexing did finally pay off.
Yeah, we've already seen that Heracross that Snorms dex, so we know that it's in the violet side of Dark Cave.
Unfortunately, the Arcanine Ninetales at this point is not in a position where it helps either of our runners, due to the lack of info. But it's a step, and sometimes all you need is one step. Now we do
There's
see
detect.
yeah, detect on that contest Articuno, so even more convenient that he found it. And Storms is actually going to yeah, he's going to go find that Heracross now.
Yeah, probably hoping to find something else that he while he's doing all the searching that makes his path a little clearer.
And did you just see what Hgfin taught triple kick over? Or I mean, headbutt over.
I did not.
It was triple kick.
Well, triple kick is really bad, so you know, I don't blame him. But he has been using it an awful lot.
Okay, yes, but triple normal coverage. At least triple kick can hit rock types and steel types.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was probably better to teach it over Spike Cannon.
Well, Snorms has found Heracross. So, I mean, he was almost certain, pretty sure that it was in fact here on this side, because we saw Hgfin got the goal early on, and the Dark Cave, not a personal favorite of mine to look for mains, but it is definitely an option. Now you see the EXP share being plopped onto the tire. Now Storms is going to be heading for that soft sand.
Yep, hopefully you get some more info off of this as well. Looks like he's picking up a few more items. Probably realizes that he needs a bit more cash for to buy all those Game Corner Pokemon.
Hgfin selling quite a few items to make room in his inventory for... Oh no, he's storing the items, just in case he needs to use them later. Now, the PC item storage is definitely one of the lesser used things in Crystal, but it definitely can be useful and sometimes invaluable to store certain important key items, such as a TM you can't sell, or, say, Everstone Goldberry, or just something. Because there have definitely been a lot of races won or lost because one player accidentally sold an item they should not have sold.
Yeah, berries take up a huge amount of space in your bag. Your bag only has limited space in this game, so it's pretty important that you have enough room for everything, as well as not wanting to accidentally sell stuff.
And we see Hitmonchan, so everyone who predicted Hitmonchan evolution, well, looks like you win this time, Garth.
Hey!
Hey, and there's Octillery info, which is just what the doctor ordered.
Yep, that is fantastic for Snorms. That gives him 2 more potential bingo lines.
Yeah, that is an absolutely huge goal. Because, he's about to get Soft Sand. If he can get the Octillery, that's 2 bingos. Hgfin Game Corner, that's 4. And assuming he is close to the money for Game Corner, then we could see, like, we could easily see a pretty solid sub 120. Now, at this point, it's basically impossible for Snorms to guess where the Arcanine Ninetales is. So, Hgfin does have that going for him. Unless, of course, he picks up the radio card now. If he picks up the radio card, there's a decent chance Snorms can metagame where the Arcanine Ninetales is.
These aren't great spots for Octillery, but it does at least exist, so he'll be able to find it if he searches long enough. Or was it around Olivine too and I just didn't see it?
I thought it was only in Union Cave. Snorms is going for the 8 trainers in Lighthouse. Looks like Snorms is going for column 1 as his finishing line. Which, I mean, I don't blame him. You get money for Game Corner. It's a... At this point, if you can afford Game Corner, it's a guaranteed line. So, it's not a terrible decision. Snorms is pretty confident that he's got a pretty sizable and safe lead, so he can basically just do whatever it takes to finish without having to rely on RNG.
I think in this case he must be skipping row 2 and not getting the 7 normal types.
Yeah, probably. I think Snorms only has like 1 or 2 normal types, so normal types can definitely be take a while if you don't find a lot of them early on. Meanwhile, Hgfin is burned, so his physical moves are going to be doing even less damage. Perhaps he doesn't realize that burn halves physical attack.
I think he's just trying to power through this fight and then heal afterwards. He's okay, just.
I'm actually surprised that the Feraligatr only did 3 damage with Earthquake. Oh no, Hgfin is just picking up the radio card now. Well, I suppose at this point Snorms is pretty committed to his path, so I doubt he'll be interested in trying to metagame Arcanine Ninetales anyway, so...
Hgfin didn't get lucky and get a Master Ball, unfortunate.
Sometimes we like to joke around that if you win the grand prize of the lottery, you just win the bingo flat out, but we are not playing with those rules for the tournament.
Oh, that was his win condition the whole time.
I think the best thing I've ever won is like a berry, maybe. Nobody wins the lottery.
Norm's on his penultimate Lighthouse Trainer.
I find it slightly interesting the walking route he chose, since I usually in this position I would imagine you'd want to do the bottom trainer first, then go up to the top one so you can pick up the items with less backtracking. Since you probably want to pick up these two items just to get a little extra money. One of them is a TM, and TMs do sell for quite a bit of cash. Oh, actually, Snorm's showing me a different route. Fair enough. This is also a trainer you can fight.
Yep, we can finish on this guy.
Does that mean there are 10 trainers in the Lighthouse? I thought there were only 9.
There's only 9. There's only 9 trainers. You can just finish on this guy and skip the bird keeper with 5 Pokemon. The guy with 5 Pokemon.
Maybe I'm misremembering where one of the trainers is. At any rate, Snorms is probably going to be going on a bit of a anti-shopping spree, selling everything. And we see him doing the wise thing, as we mentioned, depositing everything that he needs to keep, and then he's just going to sell his full inventory. Now, he does have to make sure he keeps some escape ropes, because escape ropes will be important for Runes of Elf puzzles.
He needs 48,000 to get to afford 2,400 coins in the game corner, so he doesn't quite have enough yet.
Yeah, this is what we say when we say Game Corner Pokemon sometimes isn't free. It can be quite often very, very difficult to get the amount of money that you need.
Sold all his TMs and then picked up TM11 so he doesn't sell that one by mistake.
So at this point, what can Snorms do? I suppose he could do, say, Price's Gym or pick up a few extra TMs. If he really wants to. There's a lot of items in Ice Path.
Yeah, TMs are the most consistent way of doing it. He can get the charcoal here, and that sells for 4,900. So
yeah,
that should actually be enough.
Yeah, I think he'll be like a few hundred shy, but I think he can sell some Pokeballs or Repels. Just barely scraping by.
Okay, he's just made it. He'll have 7 to spare. Unfortunately, Artillery's not on this floor, so he has to backtrack and go down the other stairs. He was hoping to get it here because he has to go down those stairs to get to some of the elf puzzles. But he'll have to go to the bottom floor.
Hgfin picking up the Dizzy Punch TM from Whitney. Wonder if he's going to teach that to the Vileplume.
Double normal type moves with 70 power, let's go.
I mean, it is better than Spike Cannon. It can confuse. It's my
Snorms
boy!
is going to do Ruins of Elf. You know, he's going to do it now. But he is going to try and catch the artillery in Union while he's here. And then once he's done that, he'll go back up the stairs, go down the other stairs, and go through Union Cave to do the Ruins of Elf puzzles.
So Snorm's having a bit of a difficult time. Seems artillery does not want to come out and play. But there we have it. The artillery, it was in fact in the water.
Oh, that was close. If that had crit, then you'd have had to have gone searching a little longer. I guess technically Snorms didn't need to sell exactly everything he did because he does have to fight one trainer on the way to one of the ARF puzzles. But I don't know how much money he gives. Probably not very much.
Same. Probably a few hundred.
Hgfin racking up those normal types. I'm not entirely sure how much he has right now, but he has at least 4.
There we see the legendary 18 Articuno, so hopefully he realizes that this is 100% going to win.
It would probably win even if you weakened it a little bit, but you probably just don't want to
Definitely.
take that risk.
Weakening Pokemon actually, it does not significantly impact the amount of the chance of a win. Actually, even weakening it to like 10% only decreases it by like the chance, usually by like 5 or 6% at most.
Okay, so probably worth doing with the Articuno then, but when you got a 1 in 3 chance of just catching it with a first ball, and it might have something like, you know, self-destruct or something.
Yeah.
Might as well just chuck that ball, I suppose.
Yeah. Maximum HP is far more important than current HP. At least according to the calculator. We have a calculator that we sometimes use.
Oh, did Snorms take it to half? Okay, well then. He got like 497. Although Hgfin only got 459, dang. It's a weenie Articuno. This Almanite is probably the trickiest puzzle, in my opinion. Some of the pieces kind of look a little weird. Like, I think Snorms got this a bit wrong. Yeah, you just got to move that one up a bit. Like, that bit of shell looks like it should be on the bottom row, but it isn't. It's a bit weird. He's got it now, though.
And we see Snorms tossing the mint berry for the extra swag. He's like, I don't need this goal. Let's just get rid of it. the Aerodactyl, one of the easier puzzles. And lastly, you'll just have to solve the Kabuto puzzle. Now, if Hgfin looked at that Articuno he caught, he would actually have a bingo.
Yep, that is true. Snorms did not look at the Articuno for like half an hour after he caught it, so you know, it took him a while to figure it out, but you know, we can say that Hgfin got a bingo. You know, that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see him get a bingo before the end of this race, and he has got it, even if he doesn't know it yet.
But wouldn't it be funny if one of the Game Corner Pokemon was a Murkrow or Mischievous?
Yeah, I'm hoping to see that. It would be pretty funny. Give him a 6th bingo.
Ruin the perfection. Make tossing the berries a mistake. Could have gotten 7, just need Sludge Bomb. The legendary Septa bingo. We see Snorms buying the last bit of money, last bit of Poke Coins, and our Pokemon are Paris, Shuckle, and Quillfish. And with that, we see Snorms finishing with an official SRL race time of 1 hour, 25 minutes, and 20 seconds. And immediately afterwards, we see Hgfin has forfeit the race, so GG to Snorms.
GG, very well executed race, I gotta say. Looked very smooth after the Feraligatr, really. Yep, his path worked out very nicely as well. Got the artillery information when he needed it. Just solid performance overall.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get them in for an interview. Oh, hello Snorms and Hgfin. Welcome. So, congratulations Snorms on winning. And unfortunately, it didn't quite work out for you, Finn.
Yeah, you can say that.
So, let's first talk about your run, Snorms. So, how did you feel about that Feraligatr name?
Well, I think I showed all the female haters wrong.
Yeah, we did notice it was a bit of a female Feraligatr, which
It was.
we didn't mention it, but they do have a slightly worse attack stat, but it's usually a pretty minimal difference. But yeah, it was a pretty good moveset. So there were a few other things at the start that we thought you might be running, such as the Staryu. Actually, we had a Water Stone.
I know. Spark wasn't enough for me to run that.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking, like, you know, when to start you learn a move. It's just not really some sort of piece of knowledge you know off the top of your head, really, for this kind of situation. So it's just like you could maybe level it up for one move. It turns out it learns a move at 7, so maybe you could have tried it. But the Feraligatr was, you know, once you got it, then there was no real need for that, I guess.
Yeah. And now your turn, Finn. So we know you had a lot of trouble finding a main. You ended up running the Vile Plume. So why don't we get your thoughts on this?
Man, I just thought it was pretty, can I, like, curse on here? Whatever, it was bad. I didn't like the moves that I had. So I was just looking for somebody else. I found, like, 2 guys I was trying to switch between, and then I decided, like, alright, I can't, like, waste more time doing this. I'm just gonna run the Vileplume, and then teach a Headbutt and Surf later on. And that was my plan.
I do wanna ask why you taught Headbutt over Triple Kick instead of Spike Cannon. leaving you
I
with
don't
three
know,
normal
like
cars.
the spike cannon was just working better for me over uh triple kick. I'm not sure if that was the right move, but just what I was seeing damage-wise, I was having more luck with spike cannon.
Well, they are different move coverages. You ended up having 3 normal type moves, and triple kick is a fighting type, so would have been a bit more coverage. But regardless, we were shocked that you did not run the Hoa with Sacred Fire Bite.
Oh
mean-
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I guess he could. I guess he could have. I can kind of see why you didn't, though.
I
Like,
suppose, but I mean, when you compare it to the Vile Plume, especially after the hindsight, I mean, you didn't know at the time, but there was the Rock Slide TM, which you also didn't actually teach the Vile Plume.
Yeah, I should have. I feel like that would have been a good idea, but I just didn't really want to run a legendary, I guess.
Fair enough.
yeah, I respect you not even entertaining the Mewtwo. Just like run away from that thing, piece of
Well,
trash.
that's-
We don't want
I
to
don't
see
know
that
if you saw
again.
it.
Goodness me.
Anyone who saw the last game from 5 hours ago, it was a reference to that because I could have picked Mewtwo at the start, and I picked Sudowoodo instead. So
Yeah, I
wanted
was
to see,
I was
someone Mewtwo.
asleep, but I heard some things. If you
Yeah.
haven't checked out that race, guys, check out that VOD because I think there might have been some entertaining stuff happening there.
So, another question for you, Snorms. So, at this point, Hgfin is you're currently on the Kimono Girls, right? So
Yeah.
you were definitely behind for a considerable amount. At any point, did you kind of metagame or realize where Hgfin was getting these Pokemon, Snorms?
I had no idea. I had a vague idea when I found that Ho-Oh where he would have been when he found the Hitmon and the Heracross, but it would have been taking a stab in the dark because there was no progress goals for me to get anything off. So it would have been
Yeah.
just
We
guessing.
guessed as much. So,
Yeah,
another question regarding your route. Were you ever tempted to do row 2? Or change your route slightly?
I had 0 normal types.
Well, that would explain that.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose I'm not really sure how you could have finished if you didn't find info on like anything else, but I guess it was pretty unlikely that you'd never run into information on Fortress or Octillery or Misdreavus or Murkrow or Horsey
Yeah.
or Ponyta. I mean,
There
I
was
guess with
plenty
Horsey
of means
Ponyta you would have.
for me to look for stuff. Like I didn't even touch Rocket Hideout. I didn't even listen to the radio.
Yeah.
Would that have
Radio
been next on your list after if you didn't get the Octillery information from the soft sand
Yeah, I
build?
probably would have gone to Rocket Hideout after. Like I would have done soft sand and then lighthouse trainers, and I would have fought the guy with 5 for info, and then I would have done Rocket Hideout.
Fair enough. But yeah, all in all, it was a very solid run. You didn't seem to run into any sort of hiccups. It looked like the thing that gave you the most trouble was that level 3 Zapdos with Spark at the start.
Yeah, I reckon that was arranged to die as well because it did 17 with a crit, and then it killed me from 10. So I'm a bit salty that I died to that.
I saw you did you did search for Aroma after you heard the Zapdos cry.
Yes. I went to look for the Spark Zapdos, assuming it still had Spark, obviously, because that would have learned a couple of moves since then. But there was a chance it still had Spark.
Yeah. And one last question for you. Let's talk about that swag tossing of the mint berry.
Yeah, they can't waste goals. I would have got rid of the Vileplume goal if I could have, and defeat Legendary, but that wasn't possible.
Fair enough. Well, I don't particularly have any more questions. Do you, Garth?
Not especially, no. Just wish you guys good luck in your future matches in the tournament. You both got 2 matches left, I believe, after this. So
Yeah.
best of luck to both of you.
Thank you.
We have
Thank
another 2 bingo matches, in fact, in about 3 hours from now. Kevin will be commentating one, and I'll be commentating another. So you'll have to pick which one you want to watch, I guess, and watch the other one later if you want. VODs do exist for a reason.
Yeah,
But thanks for commentating with me, Kevin, and thanks to the race guys. Thanks for bearing with the technical issues at the start as well. I'm glad we were able to get this restreamed.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And,
feel free to follow our runners and Garf and myself. And yeah, it's, thanks SpeedGaming for hosting us.
Word. GD Storm.
GG. Thanks, guys, for commentating, and thanks for the race again.
Yep.